There was a time when the most important person in a rock band was the drummer. Not just keeping time, but leading the music. Think about players like John Bonham, Peart, even Phil Collins. The drums didn't sit in the back. They shaped everything. So what happened? Why don't drummers lead rock bands anymore? It really isn't about skill. Modern drummers are more precise than ever, more trained, more consistent, so there hasn't been a decline in technique, but there has been a shift, and once you see it, you start to hear it everywhere. When we talk about lead drummers, we don't mean louder, we mean something more subtle. Listen to Ringo Starr, or John Bonham, or Dave Grohl. These parts don't just support the band. The same goes for drummers like Neil Peart or Phil Rudd. Drumming isn't just rhythmic, but compositional, carries ideas, and is a musical voice. That's what a lead drummer is. Someone who helps write the song in real time. Over the years, the role of the drummer has changed many times. It's often not a sudden change, but a gradual one. And these days, modern production has begun to prioritize tightness, consistency, precision, and repeatability. Drummers are locked to click tracks, and they are buried under layered production. None of that is inherently bad, but it changes the role. Instead of shaping the music, the drums are now kind of fitting into it. Classic drummers often played on the edge, slightly ahead or slightly behind the beat, but always reacting to where the feel is coming from. Compare that to modern rock, where everything seems aligned, clean, or consistent, and less flexible. When people talk about great drummers, they usually focus on technique, speed, precision, but one of the most important elements is much harder to find: passion, joy. Watch drummers like Akane Hirose or Paulina Villarreal. There's a visible connection to the music. They're not just playing parts, they're inside the moment. Think about drummers like Keith Moon, Dave Grohl, all of whom have a great physicality to their drumming that translates into sound. Energy isn't just visual, you can make it audible, you can hear it. And that's one of the reasons certain drummers still feel like they're leading, even in a modern context. So why did this shift happen in the first place? Well, there's a few reasons. One is production priorities, drum machines, songwriting structure. Because of the new ability to do things digitally, songs become more fixed before they're recorded. And band dynamics. Fewer bands are built around interaction these days and more around arrangement. The result is that the drummer's role has become much more defined and much less influential. I want to be clear on one point. I'm not chalking all of this up to drum machines and digital drums and things like this, because even human drummers these days follow the same road that I'm talking about in terms of playing a support role rather than a lead role. And here's the really important part. It isn't actually about which is better or worse. Modern drumming is very advanced and it serves a different purpose. Do you want precision, power, consistency, or do you want the feeling that the music is alive and shifting? Well, a drummer that can do a little bit of both, a lot of both, is what a lead drummer is. Why do drummers no longer lead their bands? Well, it's not because they've lost the ability, but because the role has changed. The role has gone from shaping music to supporting structure. Now, there are definite exceptions to the rule, because there are exceptions to every rule. There are definitely bands out there that have great drummers going. I mentioned a couple already. Band Made in the Warning. There's another one that I really like. That's Rocket. That has amazing drums. Now, when I say lead drummer, I also want you to keep in mind that I don't mean that the drummer is the front person of the band or the center of the band even. I just mean that they more than keep time to become a musical contributor to the overall band, and they direct the song structure and emotion of the song. So now I'm curious to hear from you. Which do you prefer? What we might call modern control and precision of drumming, or the emotional impact and unpredictability of what we might call classic rock drumming? Well, let me know in the comments. And also, if you have any thoughts about what makes a lead drummer, or who is or isn't a lead drummer, leave those comments below as well.
Music Guru here, asking you to help us on our march to 10,000 1,000 subscribers.
Welcome, members. Most people think that the hardest part of drumming a song Tom Sawyer is the intro groove, or maybe the pre-synth breakdown, but that's not it. The real